Hello New Zealand, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Philip Duncan. Well, the weather for the weekend looks pretty unsettled. We've got a storm in the Southern Ocean that is roaring in for Friday, falling apart over the weekend and ending with a cold, wintry southerly. So let's try and make sense of what is going on. There's a big blast of wind and the windiest weather right down around Fiordland, but it's spreading out across the whole country. And then later today, the windy westerlies that we've got here turn colder southerly, and that southerly will roar up the coastlines both sides of the South Island into Wellington and then across the North Island on Saturday. So a windy 24 to 36 hours around New Zealand. Conditions do ease a little bit on Saturday night, but Sunday is when the cold all starts to come in. Now the swells and the waves at sea are very dangerous this weekend I should say. This area down here, 15-metre waves. That is enormous. The door in your house or at work is 2 meters high. So this is 15 meters. So that is enormous. Coming into our most remote part of the country though. But as it moves up, it will weaken, but we're still talking about wave heights of maybe 7, 8, 9 meters all the way up the western side. So a no-go for fishing, whether you're on the rocks or going out on a boat for the next few days as this comes in along the western side of the country. Now this is tonight, Friday night. No rain on this map. I just wanted to show you all the isobars squashed together, showing you that southerly change that is moving up the country. So this is Saturday lunchtime, and you can see that southerly has gone through, but actually in the South Island, the winds turn back westerly again, and that's ahead of the main cold front. This is the main cold front there that is delivering the wintry change coming on Sunday and Monday. So for Saturday, it's cold and windy to begin with showers, but as the day goes on, the winds slowly ease, and by the end of the day, it may not be too bad in many places. Kind of a little bit warmer maybe than it was on Friday afternoon by a degree or so, and a little bit sunnier, and perhaps the winds easing a little bit. I'm trying to be as positive as I can, because on Sunday, it really does go downhill. The cold front sweeps up across New Zealand. This is it here, moving over the North Island. There'll be isolated hail, maybe a couple of thunderstorms in there, some squally showers, and then the temperatures drop, and that is the main feature for Sunday. Temperatures dropping. The whole country gets another temperature drop. Down around places like Queenstown, your high might only be 0 or +1 or +2. Very cold. We might see snow showers to sea level in Fiordland and around Milford Sound. We could be seeing low-level snow to maybe 50 or 100 metres around Southland, and sleet to sea level, hail as well. Pretty cold stuff. But look how dry it is further north. So the angle of the wind means maybe Canterbury will be dry, and other areas, once this front passes by, same story in the east of the North Island as well. And once we get to the end of the weekend, obviously the snow is going to be a bit of a feature, because this is building up over the next few days, and Sunday into Monday is really when some of that snow becomes heavier. But there's a burst of snow tonight, Friday, and into Saturday as well. This map shows you the accumulation from Friday morning until Monday morning. So this is pretty much the peak snow areas. A big amount of snow, over 1 metre for the South Island's mountains, and you can see what I mean by Southland might be getting some low-level stuff. But if you look at the coastal areas, you're talking about less than a centimetre, so it won't settle, just maybe a couple of isolated flurries. And then the eastern side looks mostly dry, but snow around Central Plateau may well affect the Desert Road and other highways through the central area. Now let's have a look at Monday. Cold and wintry on Monday. The sou'westers are blowing through, showery, cold, but still mostly dry around Canterbury and many of these eastern areas as a result of the sou'wester. And our final map is for Tuesday, and I just want to point out there is a significant change. The high to the north brings down a subtropical flow. It's a little bit weak, but there's a little bit of a subtropical flow possible for northern New Zealand. It just depends on how that all sort of sets up. But either way, even if we don't get that subtropical breeze, next week we do turn westerly. So things warm up a little bit next week, but it goes back downhill again later next week, and there might well be another low coming in next weekend and another winter blast after that. So we are expecting a real change in our pattern for August. More chaos, more cold wintry southerlies in the mix, but still getting some of these large dry areas in the east as a result of the westerlies. And the final thing before I go, Saturday, August 3rd, it's the end of the solar winter. You can go to our website or just look at our app. There's a whole story about it. But basically, this 6 weeks either side of the shortest day back in June 22nd, 6 weeks either side of that date, That's the solar winter, the 12 weeks of the year with the least amount of available sunlight, which means the days are definitely getting longer now, but thermal lag means that the coldest weather often comes in afterwards. We get the same in summer because this is kind of the equivalent to the early part of February right now if we look at the other side of the year. So we are just getting into the cold stuff, but the days are getting longer. That is all from me. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.